Someone, please.
Sir.
Oh, yes. Miss Beth.
Commercial subdivision project shall mean the entire parcel of real properties divided or to be divided primarily for commercial purposes into commercial condominium units, including all structures thereon.
Okay. So, ang keyword lang naman dito is that it will be primarily used for commercial purposes. Right. So that's why it's a commercial condominium project. Very similar lang naman yung approval process nito. First of which is you need a preliminary approval through a locational clearance. Right. What does it mean? It means that where you will put your commercial condominium project is approved by the LGU for a commercial project. So meaning, kasi pwedeng residential yung, oops, wait lang, maingay.
Asa na chicha mo? Meron po.
Alright. Pwede kasing yung zoning, remember? May residential, may commercial, may industrial. Alright. So, commercial, supposedly, yung zoning na to. Okay. And once it's approved, okay, you will be given 1 year to as an approval for your development plan. Okay. Kung sakali man na hindi nyo ma-start yung project, right, you can apply for revalidation of the approval. Okay lang naman yan. Okay. Ang final approval is the development permit. Okay. So once it is found that your project or your commercial condominium project is feasible and economically viable and does not counter to the development plan of the government, and complies to the zoning ordinance of the local government unit, then a development permit shall be issued. Okay. Yung development permit mo is valid for a period of 2 years, which means within 2 years, you need to start your development. Okay. Ang kaibahan nito sa subdivision, 3 years ang binibigay sa housing. Etong commercial, 2 years. After which, you need to register. Right? When do you register? Right? When you have accomplished at least 20% of the total development. Right? Right. Then you will register the project with the DHSUD. Right. After 2 weeks of the completion of publication and submission of affidavit of publication, the department shall, in the absence of impediment, issue your certificate of registration. Right. Right. And after which, naka 20% total development ka na, nag-publication ka na, nabigyan ka na ng certificate of registration, the next thing you do is to register or to apply for a license to sell or lease, depending on your purpose. Okay. So, license to sell, as you all know, is what is needed before you sell the project to the public. And you cannot even post advertisement about the project without the license to sell. Right. So, with commercial condominiums, similar lang yung needed na bond. It's either a performance bond, which is equivalent to 20% of the project, financially capable to complete the project, and or a cash bond, which is 50%. in the form of a fiduciary deposit, certificate of guarantee deposit, or an irrevocable credit line. So a performance bond or a cash bond. Okay. So design guidelines, it needs to be the site is commercial, right? The design is the design considers economy and efficiency, land allocation based on the needs of the tenants or buyers, and it com con sorry complies with the zoning ordinance. Right. So you also consider the parking and the loading areas, the entry and exit points, transportation facilities, and service utilities, including water supply system, waste disposal system, storm drainage system, power supply, communication system, and facilities and amenities. So yun lang naman yung sa commercial condominium project. Then we have industrial. Ito marami to. Maraming examples nito sa north usually. Sa mga Laguna, Cavite. Yan. All right. Someone read what is an industrial subdivision?
Pero ako na.
Yes, sir. Oo.
Industrial subdivision refers to a tract of land partitioned into lots for sale or lease to establishments engaged primarily in industrial production or services.
All right. Thank you, sir. So, similar to commercial condominium projects, which is primarily purposed for commercial projects, ang industrial subdivision is for industrial production or services. Right. So, degree of development may be limited to the provision of utilities, allocation of areas for industrial buildings, facilities, amenities, and provision for buildings, facilities, and amenities. Okay. So, of course, as with any subdivision, but more especially for industrial subdivision, kasi meron dapat yan allocation for spacing from one building to another. Okay. So, the provision should be there for buildings, facilities, and amenities. Okay. So, an industrial estate is a form of an industrial subdivision characterized by three basic features. Okay. So sabi, industrial estate has industrial subdivision din yan. Okay. Pero meron siyang features like it is developed according to a comprehensive plan. Okay. It has a continuing management of the entire area and left to a single controlling body. And screening of industries to be undertaken prior to development. Okay. So, what it means is, bago pa itayo yung industrial estate, may plano na, may magmamanage, at alam na kung ano yung industries na papasok dun sa development na yun. Yun yung industrial estate. Okay. So, meron din term like industrial plot or factory plot. Okay. So these are allocated lot within the industrial subdivision. So para lang yung subdivision, so may residential lots. Sa industrial subdivision, meron ding industrial plots. Ayan. So ang unit sa isang industrial subdivision is a whole building. A whole building that is within the industrial subdivision. So itong buong building na to, one unit lang yan sa industrial subdivision. Okay. Okay. So, what else? Let's have someone read this part. No entity shall undertake.
Read, sir.
Oh, yes, sir, go.
No entity shall undertake the development and/or construction on any site for the purpose of establishing or developing an industrial subdivision, and or sale or lease of any unit or lot in industrial subdivision unless the appropriate permits and licenses have been secured from the DHSUD.
All right. So what it's simply saying is, kasi diba, Department of Human Settlements and Urban Development. So parang hindi nila cover, no? Kasi human settlements supposedly housing, residential. Para no, even industrial subdivisions slash condominiums are regulated
So,
by the DHSUD.
saklaw pa rin ng DSUD, sir.
Yes,
Mga
okay.
industrial subdivisions.
Yes. Yes, sir. Okay. So sabi lang naman dito, there's no need for a separate locational clearance because it is integrated in the application for development permit in the case of industrial subdivisions. Kasi hindi ka rin mabibigyan ng development permit kung hindi nasa industrial zone yung industrial subdivision mo. Okay. So same lang naman, 1 year yung development plan, okay, which is renewable. Then development permit, 2 years from issuance. You need to develop within 2 years. Other things to consider is the sanitation code. Okay, so take note, PD 856. Okay. Of course, the water supply that will run through your industrial subdivision, including national drinking water standards. Also to consider Chapter 4, industrial hygiene. Okay. So there's a need for sanitary permit. Sanitary permit. Okay, in the operation of an industrial establishment. Also, operate only in places or zones assigned for kind of industry by existing zoning laws. Okay, so zoning. Okay, sewage disposal shall be by means of municipal or city sewage system. Then consider also the health hazards, nuances, and pollution. So PD 856 lang naman. Okay, vermin control. Vermin control. Place in terms of definition is the land, building, residence, pier, watercraft, aircraft, or any means of conveyance, and vermin are any small animals or insects such as flies, mosquitoes, cockroaches, fleas, lice, bedbugs, mice, and rats. So there needs to be a vermin abatement program. So it will be maintained by the owners, operators, or administrators. If they fail, neglect, or refuse, the local health agency will undertake the work at their expense. Okay, ganyan. Okay. Itong mga to kasi, you need this lang for definition. You take note lang sa definition ng mga ganyan. Public storage system, septic tank, house sewer, privy. Okay. Approval exception. Okay, someone read.
Ako na, Prof.
Yes, sir.
All industrial state projects planned and or approved by pertinent government agencies shall not be required to undergo the approval system. Instead, the concerned agencies shall furnish DHSUD a list of such industrial estate projects, a site development plan, list of industries to be established within the sites, vicinity map, and land regulations within, if any, prior to construction and development.
Okay. So sabi daw dito, merong exception for approval. Okay. How can you apply for exemption or approval? Okay. You can be exempted from approval if etong mga agency na ito ang nagsabi kay DHSUD na approved yung industrial estate project. Okay. So depende sa need. sabi ni Pez, kaya sabi ni Peza, pwede dito yung siguro anong industry? Uh, Electronics. Ayan. So, merong exemption for approval from DHSUD as long as it's coming from these agencies. Ayan. So, yan, Cagayan Economic Zone Authority, Aurora Pacific Ecozone, Clark Freeport, Subic Bay Metropolitan Authority, etc. Okay, so same lang naman, 20% of total development, you apply for DHSUD registration. Okay. Then, license to sell after. Design guidelines, industrial, consideration, economy and efficiency, land allocation, the needs and of the tenants or buyers, land regulation, zoning ordinance, which is industrial. So other things to consider: parking, loading areas, entry exit points, transport facilities, and water supply, waste disposal, storm drainage system, power supply, communication system, facilities, and amenities. Okay na yan. Okay. Industrial estate daw, buffer strips of at least 10 meters wide along the entire stretch of the subdivision where it abuts conflicting uses shall be maintained. Okay, buffer strips, 10 meters from each other. Okay, so it can be through a road, a parking area, or a strip planted with trees. So meaning, merong buffer from one estate to another. Kung ito, one estate, so may 10 meters, another estate, 10 meters, another estate, 10 meters. Yun lang naman. So, pwede daw na parking area, pwedeng road, ayan, ganyan. 10 meters or trees. Okay, so in an industrial subdivision, ang main roads daw has a 20 meters minimum right of way. Secondary road, 17 meters minimum right of way, and service roads, 13 meters right of way. Itong info na to, hindi ko pa to nakitang lumabas sa exam, pero you can never can tell. Baka lumabas. So yung easement ng industrial estate, same lang naman sa usual requirement, 3 meters away from a water course, drainage system, channel or stream. In urban areas, 3 meters. In agricultural areas, 20 meters. And in forest areas, 40 meters. So 3, 20, 40. Alright. Industrial plot, minimum lot area is 500 square meters. Minimum lot frontage is 10 meters for irregular lots. Minimum lot depth, irregular lots, 30 meters. So 30 meters ang lalim, 10 meters ang lapad. Ang blocks ng industrial subdivision, maximum length is 500 meters. Okay? So take note lang. Sabi na yan. So ito yung kanina sinabi ko na applying for exemption from DHSUD. Kasi the operating law is the Special Economic Zone Act of 1995, amended in 1999. So RA 7916. Okay. Ano yan? Basically, yun naman na yun. Nasabi ko na yan. Okay. Anong oras na? 1 minute farm lot. Huwag na. Marami pa to. Marami pa yung farm lot. Okay, sige. 7:59.
Akin, 8 o'clock.
Oo. Okay. So thank you once again
Thank
everyone
you, sir.
for tonight. Kaya next week na ulit. Oo, next week na ulit.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Thanks,
sir.
bro.
Thanks,
Ay,
bro.
attendance.
Attendance,
you, sir.
attendance.
All right. So page 1. 1. Kaya lang. Page 1, 1, 2, 3.
Diyan kaya
Page
ako.
2. 1, 2, 3. All right. Okay na. Thank you. Thank you. See you soon.
Si
Thank you, sir.
Yes, good night po.
Good night. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Night po.
Good night.